Time for our top 5 total team behavior score. This score is calculated by taking the 4 major behavior analytic categories that coaches want to see their teams be good at. How strong are they? What's your differential between scoring points and giving up points? The higher that differential, the stronger of a team you are. Next, we look at momentum index. Every coach wants to see their team improve from the season start to the season end. The team they have in January and February should be better than the team that took the field in September. That's your momentum index. Then we look at consistency score. Coaches want to know what their team is going to be able to do week in and week out. They don't love surprises. If you're going to be bad, be consistently bad. If you're going to be good, be consistently good. The more consistent you are, the higher your score. We also look now at environmentally the strength of schedule. If two teams are good in all 3 of those categories, but one team has faced a much easier performance environment and one team has faced a much tougher performance environment, we're going to give the nod to the team with the tougher performance environment. One big thing to note, these scores do not say these are the best teams in the NFL. They say that right now in week 13, these are the teams who are scoring the highest marks in these categories. If you see a team with not necessarily a great record scoring high in total team behavior score, that shouldn't say, hey, this team's the best team in the NFL. What it should tell you is, hey, this is a team to keep an eye on. They might make some noise as the season goes on, either playing a spoiler role if they don't make the playoffs, or maybe being a sleeper in the playoffs. So those are the types of things we try to take away from this type of a score. So let's get into it. Number 1, the Green Bay Packers. They have the highest score. They are doing really well with margin for error. They're a top 5 team. They're doing really well in terms of momentum index, improving on both sides of the ball. They've been very consistent throughout the course of the season, even when Jordan Love got hurt and missed those 2 games, and they played a rather difficult strength of schedule. That's going to get you to the top of this list each and every time. We talk a lot about the Detroit Lions in the NFC. We cannot lose sight of the Green Bay Packers. Oh, and by the way, they play tonight. So that's interesting to see how the outcome of that game comes and what it means for the rest of the season. Number 2, the Arizona Cardinals. This is that sort of like, they don't have a great record. We're not saying they're the second best team in football. We're saying keep an eye on them. They may steal the NFC West from the Seattle Seahawks. And if they do, I wonder what that could mean for the playoffs if they are riding this momentum through the postseason. Next, we have the Indianapolis Colts. This, to me, is the classic case of what this really means. No, they're not the 3rd best team in football. They may not even be in the top 5 in that conference, but they're finding ways to be successful. And Anthony Richardson, man, if you could just find some consistency with just him as an individual, this team could be really, really strong. That defense is good. It overperforms. That offense, when it performs well, it performs really, really well, which is why they have a high margin for error score. So this is a team to keep your eye on as the postseason gets closer and closer. Coming up next, we have the Philadelphia Eagles. This is not a surprise. At number 4 in total team behavior score, they've won 9 games in a row. Their margin for error is getting better. The only thing holding them back in margin for error score is their defense. They just haven't done all that well, and their outliers have been like extreme outliers against the worst offenses in football. So those get taken out for margin for error score. And their strength of schedule is also not the greatest for those reasons, so that's holding them back a little bit too. But them being here at number 4, coming off 9 straight wins, shouldn't surprise anybody. They're improving on both sides of the ball. Their margin for error is getting better. They've been consistent. The strength of schedule is what it is. Number 4 total team behavior score, and rounding that out is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm not saying Baker Mayfield should win the MVP. I'm not saying he will win the MVP. I think both of those things are in the negative. I don't think he should win. I don't think he will win, but I think he should be talked about as a quarterback who has provided an extreme amount of value to a franchise and to an offense that has had its up and downs, had its adversity, and he's continued to keep this team playing at a relatively high level. They are tied for the division lead. They still may make the postseason. Again, one of those sleeper teams we want to keep an eye on. They're number 5 in total team behavior score. Doesn't mean they're the 5th best team in football, but what it means is this is a team to keep your eye on, and we certainly will.